Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the PDResh channel. Today we're going to do episode 2 of our career mode. So let's hop into it. Looks like we're going to be going to Argentina. So as a refresher, we got 14th in our first race at Qatar. And so that puts us pretty far off in the standings. One of the things I am going to change is I'm going to turn this off because having to go get the bike is so much slower than the AI if they fall off because they just get respawned. So we're going to turn that off, leaving everything else the same. And I'll turn rewinds on just in case something really bad happens. Because I'm still new, so eventually we'll cut that off. And taking a look at our stuff, I don't think we have enough to build anything quite yet. We don't, okay. So, keep doing some research. And we'll hop into it. Ooh, it's gonna be rainy. Okay, so again, I'm gonna cut out all the development and practice stuff, and I'll meet you guys back in qualifying.
Stick around for a look at the times for this weekend's first session. Hello and welcome to the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. We're joining you live from Argentina. The first qualifying session is about to begin. It's going to be a real battle getting through to the second phase. Don't be fooled by the clear skies, the track is still wet. The situation is certain to change, but only after the bikes going around the track help to dry it out.
So here's a look at part of our best qualifying lap. So we'll come through the start of the lap, and right now we're sitting in Q2. It's probably not going to stay that way because it's so wet. We've taken the 2 medium tires and just struggling to get around there. Trying to put the power down a little bit too early as we fire off down into the next corner into turn 2. Get that one okay, but we're just kind of far off of the racing line, and then getting this weight transfer here is kind of difficult. We improved on that later on, but not at the start of the race. Then all the way down this long straightaway, come down into this heavy braking zone into turn 5, and I just fall off the bike. Gonna use a rewind. And we'll try that again. So coming down in here, we still go a little bit too wide. It's hard to get the bike slowed down enough so you can power out, and then you're pretty much flat through this section. All the way through turn 6. And then coming up here, this one's kind of tough. You gotta brake, and it starts really sharp and then it opens up so you can kind of get the power down. But you can't do it too aggressively or the bike's gonna slide out from under you. And this blind corner here took me a little bit to get to grips with. And not quite. We shoot off. I'm gonna use another rewind. I'm gonna get rid of that track limit penalty there. But I don't think I'm gonna get the bike slowed down enough here. Yeah, we got it, okay. Through turn 10, fire it down into turn 11. Easy on throttle. Really easy to wipe yourself out here. Go through the kink. Slow and down. Brake. Brake straight or brake later in that area. So you want to kind of stay to the right part of the track. Come across, and I knew we were going to run off into the grass. So we use one more rewind for our totally legit qualifying lap instead of 156.1, which is pretty slow.
Hello and welcome to the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit in Argentina for live coverage of the Moto3 race. The rain has been falling relentlessly for a few hours now, but track conditions are good anyway, and the start of the race isn't at risk. What? We're moving now to the Moto3 class grid, where engineers and technicians are ironing out the last few details before the race starts.
Setup here, take some brand new tires, new mediums, that's our only option. Track is cool, track is wet, and we're gonna see what we can do. Maximum fuel, just because it seems like in this game you kind of have to. In the other one, it didn't seem like you did, but we'll see where we qualify, which is way down the order, because we did not make it into Q2. There we are, in 26th, not last. So that's a, that's an accomplishment.
Everything here is ready to start the race at Termas de Rio Hondo. Riders.
Here we go. Let's see if we get a good launch out of the box here. Everybody fires off pretty good. We get a good launch. We can take it around the outside just because that feels safest. And I'm gonna go for the undercut. Trying to be clean. Bike wants to slip out from under us, but we're good. We're upright. Head down into the next corner. And we're just gonna shoot too wide. Gonna lose some time. A little bit late on our weight transfer there. We're gonna kick him in the top of the head by accident. And now we're gonna try to catch a little bit of a draft if we can. Apparently I'm in NASCAR mode and I'm trying to side draft as I just lose concentration and brake way too late. And we're going to use a rewind there just to keep the race interesting, otherwise it'd be boring because I'd be way far back. So better the second time around. Just going to push him a little bit too wide. Did not mean to do that. It hurts my pride to use the rewind, but I mean, I'm learning, so I have to do that every now and again. Braking hard down into turn 7. Once again, going a little bit too wide, though not getting a track limits penalty that time. And our goal here is just going to see if we can settle in and be somewhat consistent and not make too many mistakes, because we did just about throw ourselves off the bike. Gotta watch the fuel. We started the race off in power 3, now we're down to power 2. And sitting pretty in last place. Hoping that we don't get too left behind. Wipe out again. Try that corner again. And yeah, we're not making any friends. We're accidentally becoming the, I want to say Nikita Mazepin of MotoGP, but I also don't want to insult my own self that much. Coming through. A little bit of a skip there, sorry about that. But we're going to see if we can hang on to the back of this bit of the grid here. It's only 2 laps in, so they're not getting too strung out. And we're ever so slightly improving coming out of turn 4. We're going to see if they don't drop us here before too long. Looking really good on fuel. Probably being a little bit too careful with my fuel. But I definitely do not want to run out, not knowing how the fuel mileage will work on this bike yet. Gonna do our best to keep up with Fernandez. And did a pretty good job that time coming through turn 8. Well, we're hanging on for dear life at the end of this crew, or end of this grid here with this crew. Just missing that again. I'm gonna rewind that. That part is really challenging. Slow it down a little bit more this time. There we go. That was a much better line. If you're just a millisecond too late on that, getting your body leaned over for this corner, you're all kinds of messed up. So gap behind us is building. No surprise there, considering how I ran 2 people off of their bikes. Gap ahead is also building a little bit, which is not what we want to see. Going up into power 3 now to try to make up some of this deficit. We got plenty of fuel left, so we might as well use that. There we go. We're getting the hang of turn 1 now. Starting to kind of get to grips with that, and we're just going to see if we can hang on. I'm not gaining as much ground as I hoped I would yet. So moving forward, we're another lap in. They haven't left us yet. We're still just tailing the back of this, the 26th place bike of Fernandez. Still doing pretty good on fuel. Got 1 track limit warning, so no long laps coming up. But as you can see, the gap is starting to close. We were about 1.5 seconds behind. Now we're about 3/4 of a second, 7/10. Starting to figure the track out in our line. Mostly just being more patient on the throttle and less aggressive on the brakes. Figuring out when to lean. Also learned to be a little bit more kind to myself and use some more traction control. It feels like in this game that the weather has an effect on your bike handling a little bit more than MotoGP 20 did. But we're doing okay. Last race was kind of a fluke with everybody falling off of their bikes. I know they've made some AI adjustments now, so that will be a lot less prominent in the races. So, but hey, you know what? I'll take a 14th to start it off with, you know? Sometimes shit happens in real life. It just so happened that everybody forgot how to ride a motorcycle that day. First race of the season. What do you expect? Really getting this turn down now. I'm pretty happy with how turn 9 is going. Not so happy with how turn 10 is looking. But I'm learning to be a little bit more patient on picking that throttle back up here. And again, traction control really helping us out. Gap is opened back up to about 1.2 seconds. But they're not closing in behind us, so we're pretty much guaranteed to not be last. Bender is just hauling it though. Alright, skipping forward. Here we go. 8 laps in. Take a gander at the old replay up there. So we closed in. Some position changes happened. Right on the back of the 71 of Sasaki. Is that how you say that? Catching his draft coming down the main straight. Gonna fly past and make sure we don't outbrake ourselves. And we don't, just falling in line. There's our good buddy Fernandez again. Just getting that position. Looking pretty good. So we're in the running for gaining a few spots now. And you can see on the right side, our lap time consistency is getting there. Not doing too bad. We're maybe about half a second off at worst between some of the laps, but that's looking a lot better than it was earlier. trying to find out where we can gain some time. Seems like I gained a little bit there on Ricardo Rossi. And then just picking the power back up. Shooting a little bit too wide there again and having to avoid running into him. Don't want to knock anybody else off their bike. And here come the clouds down the main straight. Be really patient, really patient. Try not to overdrive the bike. I'm looking down at my tire wear. We're doing okay, everything's pretty much even from front to rear, so that's a good sign. We're not burning the back tire off. And this track has some pretty fast right-hand turns, so that's why that side's getting a little bit more worn. We're doing good. Going back up into power 3. Go ahead and get more power. See if we can fire down this straightaway. Can we make a pass or at least set up a move? Not quite, not going to get next to him. But we might go for the undercut here, and we're not going to get that either. But that's okay, we didn't lose any time. And just kind of, you know, bump drafting. Because they do that, right? Not really. Did not mean to kind of connect tires. I'm glad we didn't both go flying off of our bikes, but I did kind of unfortunately push Ricardo wide. But we're gonna get the move done nonetheless. Right, okay, so we're to the good 1.3 laps on fuel. So we got plenty of time left to stay in our richest mode. If we can make up 1 or 2 more positions, I'd be really, really happy about that. Once again, figuring out this braking zone and just looking for a move behind us here. Is he going to get it done? Not quite. Hopefully we can form a gap there. If we have to defend too much, we're going to end up losing the 50 and the 31. Ooh, back getting squirrely. Stay on it, stay on it. Going down into power 2. Gonna try to save a little bit of fuel for a final push. But there's that consistency we were looking for. From lap 6 to 10, we've run some fairly consistent lap times, with laps 7 and 8 being an incredible 1/1000th different. So that's pretty good. I've said in some of the iRacing videos, one of your most important things is going to be consistency more than all-out pace. So we're following our own advice and kind of working on it. Going to cut in for a tight line, and can we get the move done? No. That's okay, we still have time. Got about another lap and a half to go, a little bit less, and plenty of fuel. We'll see if we can hang on to him. Ooh, okay. And that was our 4th warning on our track limits. So 1 more of those and we have a long lap penalty, which I definitely do not want coming into the last lap, because that'll set us back quite a bit, because everybody behind us is pretty close. Thankfully they're not completely stacked up, but they're close enough that we're dropping back if we have to do a long lap penalty. Let's see what we can do. Keep it going. Firing down into the last corner again, see if we can get a good exit. We do okay. We're just about going too wide. Bender there with a 155.6. Dude is absolutely rolling. No wonder we're almost 20 seconds behind him. And final lap, we're going to fall off the bike. So let's use 1 more rewind. And we'll take our punches going a little bit too wide there. We won't turn that into a perfect corner. Side by side. See if we can keep him behind us. And almost lose it. Gotta be on the inside here for turn 3. And okay, yeah, we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. We're going to try that again, and we do it right that time. Look at the inside. Back up into power 3. We have plenty of fuel left, maybe even too much. I've got just under a quarter tank left and 1 lap to go, so now we know we can use a little bit more next time, or take a little bit less. However we want to look at that. Lap times are still looking good and decently consistent. However, we are falling off of the 50 and the 31. Just pushing a little bit too hard and getting that right side of the right front a little bit too hot in that corner. Hopefully we can get that cooled back down. Make sure we get a good exit here. And we do. Kind of. Just have to keep the 53 behind us. Not that we're going to get any points back here, but I'd rather not be 25th if I could be 24th. Couple corners to go. Is anybody going to bite the dust and fall? No. Everybody's going to make it through. And we're going to come through and claim 24th with our first, probably, I'd say, legitimate race where everybody didn't fall off.
The exciting race of finishing the final lap. Let's take advantage of these moments to take a look at the Moto3 final ranking.
Good job, Darren Bender, though. And here we are, not last. Making Husqvarna quite proud by being the last Husqvarna on track, but not last on the field. Did not reach our race goal of being top 15, so got some people mad at us. I think we're losing some fans. It's okay. Every athlete goes through this. We're gonna have to pick that back up. But at least we got track study and top speed, so that's good. Got a couple more research data points. See if we can make use of those. Okay, so here we are back at the main screen. So we've dropped to 19th in the championship standings, but that's okay. Got to get to 10th, which I think we can do with some more R&D on the bike. So looks like race 3 is going to be at Red Bull. Okay, I like that track, so that should be okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being here. And look out for part 3 coming up. See if we can improve any more. Take care, everybody.